No, it's this way. Welcome to my modest deluxe room. Wow. So that's what I got. So it's much bigger than a regular room. It has only one bed. And we are back in Cambridge, Ontario, Canada. Yeah, I see it's probably if I paid better, they would give me a bigger globe. See, this one is kind of like a budget version. And let's see, which side is my... Oh, perfect. You see that beautiful vehicle over there in the distance? Okay, let me see. We can... yeah, I don't know. Doesn't wanna... okay, those... but there's a white car somewhere there in front of that very... yeah, it's in the center of the frame, but it's very far, it's very dark. But that's what it is. So I drove back with a 2-day stop in Chicago, where I did this previous video with pictures, and I booked a load. I booked a load for Monday, and so I left. I spent this night in Benton Harbor. In Benton Harbor, somewhere around this area. So Chicago would be probably here. So I was at exit 29, Walmart. Oh, and my truck started pulling to the right for some reason. And so I stopped at the Flying J exit 30. And I paid them $45 to rotate my front wheels. And now everything is pretty much perfect. You know? So I wanted to do alignment, but now I don't think I need to do it. But basically I booked a big excavator, moving a 82,000 pounds excavator from New York State to Northern Ontario. The only problem is that the shipper is not exactly sure where the excavator is. We spent whole Friday trying to find out the exact address. And wait a second, I'm looking at the mirror and in the screen here. I look like a terrorist, you know. Hold on one second. Boy, feel pretty good. I think this is much better now, right? So small children are not crying anymore. I wanted to keep it, honestly, I wanted to keep the beard because I use the smallest, what do you call it, attachment, the smallest attachment for my head, but then I use like 2 sizes bigger for my beard, but it looked weird, I don't know, like very thin hair, so I ended up using the same attachment for the beard as for my head. Alright, my car is still somewhere there. Because I was afraid there were kids playing ball here. And at first I parked the car closer to the building, and then I said, no, forget it. Park it on the other side, but that's still parking for the hotel. Alright, 67. That's not good. Let's add some heat. So where were we? So, yeah, so I spent the night hold on one second, in Benton Harbor, rotating tires, and then I drove 1 mile back to Walmart, got some food, spent the night there, grabbed coffee at McDonald's, and left around 9 in the morning today. And from there it's about 6 hours, like almost 400 miles to here. And I stopped for, so I took like 94 east to I-69 north or east, and stopped at exit 105 east of Lansing at the road Oasis in Perry. They have a diner in there that keep changing, the like owners come and go, and each time I stop there there's a new name. So now it's called Bears Diner, no, Bears 105 Diner, because it's exit is 105 on 69. And they say like us on Facebook, you know, like there's a what, I don't remember the name Bear, but now it's called Bears 105 Diner, and the website is bears105diner.com in case somebody can look it up. But yeah, the food is pretty good, like in kind of like traditional, you know, omelets, salads, coffee, stuff like that. And from there it's only about hour 40 minutes to the border. And the cool thing about crossing into Canada with a truck only, like no trailer, is that you don't have to do any paperwork before showing up at the border. You know, if you try to do that, if you try to pull that off with the trailer, especially with the load, you can get a fine up to $5,000, because you must, you know, do this kind of like pre-notification thing online, get the e-manifest, print out the cover page, right? But I talked to them, I used to do this manifest even for the truck, because that's what they require on the US side. They don't care. When you go from Canada to US, even bobtail, they want to see that e-manifest, you know. But on the Canadian side, maybe because I'm a Canadian citizen, I asked them about this, and they said, no, next time you coming from US into Canada with a bobtail truck, no trailer, no load, you don't have to do anything. So I just showed them my passport. She asked me a couple of questions. Boom, I stopped right there. I switched my tablets, right? I took off my Verizon, logged out of Keep Trucking, took off my Verizon, put on my Rogers tablet, and that's it. And I just drove 2 hours here. And first thing I did, because I've been on the road so long, like I'm running out of t-shirts, so I dropped off my laundry at this wash and fold place. Costs about 18 bucks Canadian, so like 15 US. But you know, you drop it off and then it's gonna be ready tomorrow, Sunday. I said, what time do you want me to come over? 9, 10, the guy says lunchtime. Okay. And then I went to check my mail, got my the request for fourth quarter IFTA return, like they send you a blank sheet that you're supposed to fill out. So, you know, December, right, that's the last month of this quarter, so I need to do IFTA. It always takes me like a day because I do it manually. I hate that one, you know. And then you end up owing them $36.75, you know, 36 bucks. Or once I had they owed me money, but most of the time it's just a few bucks you owe them. And I was joking in one of the videos. I said, you know, it would be great. I would pay them $100 every month, no, every quarter, if they would allow me not to do this stuff, because this paperwork is just stupid. You know, it's so many calculations just to find out that you owe somebody $30 to the government. It's such a waste of money and time. Mostly time, of course, in my case. And so I picked up that envelope, so now I can do my return when I have time. And then I remembered that since with this excavator, it goes to northern Ontario, very far, close to Manitoba line. And as you might know, the border between Manitoba and Ontario, that's where bad stuff happens to your trailer spec. In my case, I lose 2 axles. If I cross into Manitoba, instead of an 8-axle rig, I become a 6-axle rig. And so, fortunately for me, this load just goes to east of Manitoba line, inside Ontario, but very close to Manitoba, like and I'm anticipating deep freeze over there. So I was driving and thinking, what do I need for this trip? And I figured, yeah, I need to go and buy some anti-gel because it's much cheaper in Canada, because we have this, what's the brand? That green bottle I showed before, like a 1 liter bottle, like 2.5 pints, and it's only $7 Canadian, which is like, what is it? It's $5 US, and that one is good. I usually put one in each tank, when I fuel. Even though here in Canada, lots of gas fuel stations, they do use additives because of cold temperatures, right? But here today it was like 36, 37 plus 3. But I went to Canadian Tire and got like department store and found these green bottles, and there was only 3 on the shelf. I went over to the customer, counter. I said, "Do you guys have more?" So she checked with her scanner, scanned the bottle, and she says, "Yeah, we have a bunch of them in the back." I said, "I'll buy a box." And so I bought a whole box. It's 12 of these small bottles. And too bad they don't give you any discount. It's like buying a whole case. You don't get any discount. They still charge you per each individual thing. So next time I'll try to buy it on Amazon Canada. But so that's the plan. I just went to a hotel because I left my my grooming kit in my car, and my beard was really getting out of control. And so when I'm in Cambridge, I went to the hotel just specifically for this, and just relax a little bit. And then tomorrow I'm going to pick up the laundry around lunchtime, right? And then my truck is still not connected to the trailer. I just parked it in front of the trailer. And tomorrow's Sunday, so I want to go across the freeway there, like 5 minutes from my yard. There's a gas station that usually sells cheap diesel and high quality. Probably I can use 50-60 gallons. Because going north, fuel is going to be very expensive. And then I want to move out closer to the border so that I can cross tomorrow first thing in the morning. I'll probably go to Pilot or Husky, just near the US border, near the closer to Niagara Falls or Buffalo. Because again, the funny thing is that when we were talking about the price and the rate, and I was arguing with them because they didn't want to pay, and they posted the load is loading in Niagara Falls, US, and that's what I based my quote on. But now, when I finally we filled out the agreement and I finally got my rate confirmation, all of a sudden I see on the rate confirmation it's a different port, not Niagara Falls, but a totally different port of entry between US and Canada, 300 miles away. And I said, wait a second, that's not what we agreed on. Can you confirm where's the actual excavator? The guy does not know. He talks to the original broker. There's like 20 brokers involved, and that one is not sure. So basically what happened is that the main broker, which also sold this, basically the guy in Canada bought this excavator from a transport company, but which also trades in used machinery. So the Canadian guy bought this excavator from these guys, and for some reason they didn't want to move it themselves. They gave this load to broker number 2, let's say, right? And broker number 2 found a Canadian carrier from Quebec, and when the guy came to the border, there was something wrong with the paperwork, and I guess they didn't want to pay him for waiting, and he just dropped this load somewhere in New York. Like, we know for sure it's in New York State, right? Upstate New York, but near the border. But I don't know. They said no, it's sitting there, Niagara Falls. I said, are you sure? Well, that's what the broker number 2 is telling us. And so then that broker number 2 that found this Quebec guy, he was so cheap. He tried to find a carrier to do this from the border to Canada. And so finally the broker number 1 got frustrated and gave this to broker number 3. Broker number 3 posted this on a load board, as well as broker number 2 was there. And this guy was willing to pay more, and I called him and we had a deal. And now I'm getting text messages from broker number 2. He says, okay, can you do this, the rate, which was still lower than what I got from broker number 3. I'm not sure how deep the greed can go with brokers, because clearly we're talking about the same shipper here, right? The shipper is the company that sold this excavator. And so clearly this broker number 2 is just wants to keep too much of the money for himself, for herself. But anyway, so that's what I'm doing. It's probably gonna take me a week at least, because I'm expecting some bad weather, cold temperatures, and there's no freeways over there north of north of Sudbury. It's Highway 11, Highway 17, lots of fun. You know, if you're a kid and you want to play in the snow and build a snowman, that's cool. But if you're a trucker, not so much. We'll post an update once I have the machine on my deck. But of course, priority number 1 is finding the machine. Because if it's sitting on the other side of upstate New York, I'm not going to do it for the money we agreed on, because that's not what I signed up for, right? I signed up for Niagara Falls, New York to Canada, not Albany to Canada. So if it's sitting near Albany, we'll have to renegotiate, because there's going to be much more expenses. So it's funny. It's funny, like I'm telling you, I'm talking to the guy on the phone and I'm almost laughing. So where is the machine? They're not sure. So you found the truck. You found the guy to move the machine. I said, it should be like common courtesy. At least tell me where the machine is, right?
Thanks for watching. Catch you later.